Hello, everybody, and welcome to my 3,000 subscriber special. I just want to take a moment to say thank you, sincerely, to everyone who's helped to support me and get me this far. I imagine you've already read the title. I'm not going to waste your time. Let's get right into it. So, the first question comes from Dynamic 20002. As a matter of fact, many of the questions are going to be coming from this particular individual, and you know what? I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for your support. So, his first question: do you have a pet? What is their name? So, I have three pets. Technically two, but my roommate also has a dog, and that dog is really cute. His name is Kermit. He's a really, really old dog, but my god, he's got a heart of gold. Look at those big old ears, too. Oh my god, look at those ears. They're so cute. Then there's Sparrow. Sparrow is certainly one of the cats of all time. He is very young, and he's very big, and he thinks that he's a hunter. So he likes to act like Billy Badass, but in reality, he's fucking stupid. And then there is my baby, my little angel, my little heaven crafted beauty, Stormy. This cat, I need y'all to really take a moment and look at this cat. This cat is fucking beautiful. Look at those blue eyes. They're like little crystals. She is perfect and she can do no wrong. She is my baby girl and I will fucking kill somebody if they dare to say that she is anything less than perfect. Look at my beautiful child. What was your first game? Oh, gee golly. The first game that I remember playing was none other than Pokemon Silver on my brother's Game Boy. It's a pretty simple memory. I was really young, it was the turn of the millennium. I walked into our room and I saw his Game Boy lying on the floor. I picked it up and I was like, ooh, Pokemon. I think I've heard of this. And I started playing it. And then I kept playing it. And now it's like 25 years later. Oh my god, it's been a quarter of a century. And I still love Pokemon, so hey, it's pretty cool. What genre of games do you enjoy the most? I feel like the obvious answer here is RPGs. I mean, some of my favorite games include Bloodborne, Fallout New Vegas, Persona 3, Mass Effect. So yeah, I mean, I think I can pretty comfortably say role-playing games, but even then there's no set particular style of role-playing games that I gravitate towards the most. Because I mean, really, Fallout New Vegas, Mass Effect, Persona 3, they don't really have that much in common other than, shooting people in the head. So yeah, definitely role-playing games. But I mean, I play a wide variety of games in all honesty. Like I really love fighting games, although I don't care for them as much as I used to just because I kind of fell out of them after trying the competitive scene with certain games. I don't like competitive fighting games at all. Or at least I should say I don't enjoy playing them competitively. It's just not fun to me. I also really enjoy a good open world game. I enjoy a good linear action game like Devil May Cry. I enjoy stealth games like Hitman and Metal Gear. I like puzzle games like Catherine and Portal. I mean, I really do like a wide variety of games, but yeah, if I had to pick one particular genre, it would probably have to be role-playing games, even though that genre itself is pretty broad. But you get the idea. Have you played Prey 2017? I recommend trying Nightmare without upgrades. I have not played Prey. A friend of mine let me borrow it, and I still have their copy, and I still have not played it. I plan to eventually. I think it's on my backlog. As a matter of fact, you know what? Here, let me check. Let me check to see my backlog list real quick. Is Prey on this list? No, Prey is not on that list. It might get added to that list at some point. Maybe. The backlog's huge, okay? I got enough games I need to play right now, so all in due time. Have you broken your arm one day? Which was it? Left? What the fuck is this question? So, no, I've never broken my arm one day or any volume, any quantity of days. I've never broken my arm or broken a bone. One time I had fractures in my knee, and that was about it. So yeah, never broken an arm. How do you tie your shoes? What the fuck? How do you tie your shoes? There are some cool ways to change how laces look. So, I prefer tying my shoes with my hands. That's kind of the way that I was taught to do it. Some people might do it differently, but I don't know. I feel like that's kind of the norm, and I don't want to stray too far from that. You know what I mean? What ice cream flavor is your favorite? Definitely cotton candy. Cotton candy ice cream. For anyone who's listening to this, if you have not had cotton candy ice cream, do yourself a favor and fix that, because cotton candy ice cream is fucking amazing. Some honorable mentions I've got to include Orange Sherbet, Superman, Rocky Road, and of course, the classic Cookies and Cream. Also, strawberry. Strawberry ice cream is really really damn good. Which season of the year is your favorite? Probably wintertime. I get really nostalgic around wintertime. It's just, I don't know, that kind of classic Christmas feel, you know what I mean? Where everything is suddenly in the 1920s all over again. I just really love it. Like, there's something very familiar and comforting about it for me. So I guess I would also answer the question what my favorite holiday is, which would be Christmas. Wintertime is just a lot of fun. You know, you get to cozy up next to a fireplace, get some hot cocoa. Man, it's just a good time. Also, the snow is beautiful. Have you watched or read JoJo? No. Have you watched or read Invincible? I have read a little bit of Invincible and I saw the first season. I'm probably going to watch the second season at some point, but I also know that it goes into multiverse and at this point I'm just God, I'm so sick of multiverse and fucking everything. Not even just superhero stuff, like Bayonetta 3 had it. I'm just my God, Guys, I'm so fucking sick of multiverse. But yeah, I'm sure I'll get around to it eventually. Were you there when Infinity War came out in theaters? Hell yeah, I was. I went to see Infinity War with a couple of friends, and my god, that movie is so good. It has its problems, don't get me wrong, but fuck me if it's not a fun ride. Can you stand and walk on your arms? Yes. And no. I can stand on my arms, but I cannot walk on them. Unless I'm in a pool, in which case, yes, I can. So technically, I guess the answer to both is yes. Which do you prefer, coming before the time you decided on to meet, coming precisely at that time, or coming a bit late? So I prefer coming at the same time, and I'm gonna let you interpret that however you will. Coffee or tea? Cocoa? I don't. Dynamic, what the fuck is with these questions? They're so weird. So, I don't drink coffee and I don't drink tea, but like I said, I like hot cocoa during Christmas time and winter time, so yes to that one. Do/did/will you play Helldivers 2? So, probably not. I've heard a lot of really good things about Helldivers 2, and I'm really glad that people like it. It just doesn't really appeal to me personally. I may try it one day if I'm just bored and, I don't know, someone gifts it to me or something. I don't know if it's free. I haven't looked. But to be honest, I just don't really have any interest in it. Not that I think it looks bad or anything. Like I said, it looks really good. I just don't have any personal interest in playing it myself. But hey, who knows? Do you play fighting games? If so, which is your favorite? So, I do play fighting games nowhere near as much as I used to, but I definitely still do from time to time. If I had to pick a favorite though, oh man, there's a few. Back in its day, Injustice 2 was so fucking fun. Me and my buddies would play that game for just hours on end. I really liked it. I'm also a big fan of Mortal Kombat 9, every Super Smash Bros. That isn't Brawl, and for what it's worth, I really enjoy Soul Calibur. But if I had to pick a favorite now, it would probably have to be Smash Ultimate, if we're counting that. I know it's kind of a weird, different kind of fighter in its own subgenre that it basically invented, but it's definitely the one that I play the most since I play it at parties and things like that. So yeah, I'm gonna say Smash Bros. Ultimate. Though I do have a soft spot for Smash 64 and also Melee. Do you consider Batman Arkham Origins to be part of the series? Briefly explain. Well, technically, yeah, it is a part of the series, but I get the gist of what you're asking. And yeah, Batman Arkham Origins, I only played it once, and it was many years ago, like pretty much right after it came out. I had a lot of fun with it. I don't really know why people shat on it so much. Again, I haven't played it in years, so who knows? Maybe I'd hate it if I played it again. I don't know. But I remember really enjoying it. I thought it was a pretty good time. But it has been a while since I've played, so I don't really have anything more to add. I just thought it was pretty good. The multiplayer was really dumb. I wish they didn't even bother with that. I know it was back when multiplayer was basically being shoehorned into every video game there was. But for what it's worth, some games did succeed with it, like Mass Effect 3, but Batman Arkham Origins, yeah, that multiplayer was pretty stinky. Kind of like God of War Ascension. Does anyone even remember that that game had a multiplayer? Do you have a driver's license? Yes. What mythological/magical creature would you have as a pet? So that's a really tough one. I would probably go with something simple and cute, like a fairy, something like Navi out of Zelda. I wouldn't want anything with the potential for destruction and chaos like a dragon. Like some people would be like, "Oh, dude, I want a dragon," but I'm like, "No, man, those things will fuck you up." Definitely wouldn't want a unicorn. Horses are already weird enough. I don't need an unknown magical one to bother with. Let me think. Honestly, I would probably go with something pretty simple, if not a fairy. Like, just a talking dog would be so awesome. I would love that. I'm a simple guy, what can I say? I got simple tastes. Revolver, sable, I think you meant to say saber. Blaster, katana, or a longsword. Which one do you associate yourself with the most? Definitely a revolver, because I'm a cowboy. Yeehaw. Also, revolvers are just consistently the coolest gun ever. Like, don't even try and argue with me about that, because you will be wrong. Do you think there's a place for man's mortal body in exploration of eternal cosmos? Dude, dynamic, what the fuck? I don't even know how to answer that, man. I'm not even gonna lie. Maybe. I'll say maybe. Do you ever regret growing up? So, regret is a weird thing. As far as growing up goes, I mean, for one, I didn't have a choice, and two, I don't regret growing up because I've had some amazing experiences. But regret itself, that's a bit of a weird one because on one hand, it's like, yeah, if I went back, I would do a lot of things differently, but on the other hand, everything I've ever done has led me to the point that I am now, and I'm a really happy person, so I don't know. It's kind of weird to say I regret anything when I'm also happy with where I ended up. I'll just leave it at that. When are you answering these questions? What time is it currently for you? So I'm answering these questions on the 1st of August, and right now it is 9:19 a.m. I have not slept and I have a job interview here in a little while, so yeah, fun times. Ever wondered how frightening it is to look up underwater and see nothing? No. No, I have not. And I don't think I'm gonna do that. Ever. Because that's scary, and I am a big fucking baby. How high is the sky? How wide is it? Alright, you know what? Hey Alexa, how high is the sky? Apparently it's 62 miles or 400 kilometers above sea level. Hey Alexa, how wide is the sky? Apparently the sky is approximately 250 meters wide. So, yeah, you learn something new every day, I guess. When you think about how long it will take for people to forget you after your passing, what do you feel? Well, there's an existential question if I've ever heard one. You know, there's an old saying that goes, you actually die twice, once when your body gives out, and again when you are thought of for the last time. As for how it makes me feel, I don't know. I mean, everything's gonna end eventually. The universe itself is going to end eventually, unless future humans come up with some crazy sci fi bullshit to create another universe and live on and prosper. I don't know, everything has an end someday, so what can you do? Is freedom worth freedom? I don't even know how to begin answering that, my dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. Why is the channel called Loveless? Affection Lacquer. So, Loveless is my surname. And I remember when I was in military training, I really enjoyed being called Loveless by my flight. I don't know why, just, it felt cool. It was me, but it was also different than being called. It probably doesn't help that I'm a little, ADHD as fuck and tend to bounce between seasonal hyperfixations. Like, I knew if I named my channel, for instance, something based off of a particular game that I loved, even if it was one of my favorite games of all time, I would eventually want to rebrand the channel because I don't want to focus on any one specific thing. I just don't have it in me. I have a wide variety of interests, and I figured, what better a way to title my channel than after myself? It's not meant to be taken literally. I've had people say like, "Oh, fucking Loveless, you think you're so edgy calling yourself that?" It's like, no, it's my fucking name. Like, what do you want me to do? There's no deeper meaning behind it. I mean, I'm engaged now, so like it doesn't even really fit, but you know, that's my name. What can I say? This question comes from BioDragoon9441. Level 99 Makoto Yuki who can use Persona outside of the Dark Hour versus DMC5 Dante with Infinite Devil Trigger. Who wins? To clarify, by Infinite Devil Trigger, I meant the Super Dante costume from DMC5. Man, I mean, I feel like any sort of what-if fight involving Persona 3's protagonist is basically going to come down to, do they have the Universe Arcana or not? If he does have the Universe Arcana, then he can literally just delete Dante from existence and Dante can do nothing about it. But without the Universe Arcana, yeah, Dante wins very easily. This question comes from Idris Sagbaya, 6813. I hope I pronounced that right. If not, I apologize. What are your thoughts on Under the Mayo's God of War vs. DMC video? Well, all I'm gonna say is that you're gonna have to wait for the C's episode covering that. This one comes from Quantum Test Gaming. Have you watched Mahler's Fallout TV review? What do you think of it? So, for those of you who don't know, Mahler is a very big inspiration for me and my channel. I've always loved his content, and I've always really enjoyed EFAP. That being said, I also really enjoyed the Fallout TV show. I haven't seen Mahler's review of it, but I definitely want to go through it eventually. I don't think I'm going to do a C's on it, mostly because Lucy's not particularly familiar with Fallout, to my knowledge, and she hasn't even seen the show, as far as I know. But I do think I would be open to doing a stream or something like that in the future where we go over it. I feel like the best case scenario would be getting Mahler on a collaboration project of sorts where we talk about it, but I'm a much smaller channel. I doubt he's going to do that, and I don't blame him or anything. But it does feel like something I should address eventually, given the fact that, Mahler is one of my big channel inspirations, and I did enjoy the Fallout show. So I don't know. Can't really answer the question since I haven't seen the video, but I can say there will almost definitely be content covering it in the future. This question comes from the True Random Gamer. What is your favorite book? The Bible. No. I don't really know if I have one particular favorite book, but I definitely have a few. The first one that comes to mind is Hatchet. Hatchet is one of those books that when I first read it, I was not that into it. I read it in third grade where my attention span was notoriously at its worst. And the opening of the book is a lot of setup. But my third grade teacher, Miss Tucker, who was a wonderful, wonderful human being, encouraged me to continue reading it. And I was really happy that she did. And it turned out to be one of my favorite books at the time. And honestly, I still love that book. Aside from that, I'm a really big fan of short stories. I loved Of Mice and Men, Death of a Salesman. I don't read too many longer books, but honestly, if I had to pick a favorite, and I know somebody is going to call me a massive dork for saying this, but I love the Harry Potter books. Look, I grew up on that stuff and I read it with my mom and my brother. I love the Harry Potter books, unashamedly. But if I had to pick one particular favorite, it might be Hatchet, just because there's a very special memory of mine associated with that. Oh, also, Where the Red Fern Grows. That's a really, really goddamn good book. And we are back to dynamics questions. Welcome back, buddy. Dude, I can't come up with 8 more questions every time you notify us about the special again. Can we just skip 3K and go on to 10K? Look, I would love to just have 10,000 subscribers as much as the next guy. Hell, if I did, that would be fantastic. But sadly, I don't see that happening. Not for a while. Do you think your videos would be more successful if you just released your series as one big vid? I mean, I feel like the Fallout New Vegas DLC thing kind of proves that, because when I was releasing those in individual parts, they got, what, a couple of hundred views at most? But then I released the mega cut, and holy Jesus Christ, it's at like what, 125,000 views now or something like that? So yeah, I think it's pretty apparent that the bigger videos are much more successful, but I do want to have consistent uploads for those who are subscribed to my channel and not just happening across these mega videos. So I feel like releasing them in parts and then releasing the supercut works out better for everybody. Did you think about putting some music behind your grand show of knowledge? Talking in the vid. I'm not sure what video this is referring to specifically. Probably the New Vegas DLC one if I had to guess, because at one point in the Honest Hearts review series, I decided to just stop bothering with music entirely because copyright was such a hassle. At this point though, I feel like I've got a pretty good grasp on what music I can use realistically without having to deal with copyright, so I just kind of lean on that. It's a pain in the ass, but it feels good to have mostly figured out, I guess. Copyright's a pain in the ass. Have you played Borderlands? If so, which weapon manufacturers are your favorite? Oh yes, yes sir I have. I have played a lot of Borderlands over the years. I haven't played in a while, but holy crap, I used to put hundreds upon hundreds of hours into those games. And I really mean all of them. Borderlands 1, 2, the pre-sequel, 3. I even played Tales from the Borderlands a couple of times. I still haven't played the Tiny Tina game or the new Tales from the Borderlands. I just don't really have any interest in them anymore. But for what it's worth, gameplay-wise, I still really enjoy them. I've been hearing that the movie is really bad, but I haven't seen anything of it myself besides one trailer, which looked fine, I guess. But as far as my favorite weapon manufacturers go, I mean, it's gotta be Torg, right? Torg is my man. Torg is a fucking king. Also, any weapon that goes boom boom makes me happy, you know? Second favorite, though, would definitely be Hyperion. Hyperion weapons are really, really cool. I wish I was here for your channel, or just maybe your growth. Aw, do you regret not being there for something or someone? Oh, wow, okay. Like I said, regret's a weird thing, but I can at least say that I kind of regret how I've treated certain people in the past, especially when I was younger and I was this right-wing religious lunatic. Like, seriously, holy crap, I was I was not a good person. I'll say that. I know for a fact 1 kilogram of feathers. Okay, what the fuck? I know for a fact 1 kilogram of feathers is lighter, subjective metric by the way, than 1 kilogram of steel due to the volume and air resistance, but is 100 kilograms of water heavier than 100 kilograms of powder? So, I mean, if if they weigh the same thing, then they weigh the same thing. They're not one's not no. And now we're on to the Discord questions. This one comes from the Hatchling. Have you ever tried out the Tales of series? If so, what are your thoughts? If not, I'd highly recommend Tales of Symphonia or Tales of the Abyss for your starting point. So yeah, I've never played the Tales games. I have a couple of friends who really love them, but I've just never gotten around to them for one reason or another. I would be interested though. I just don't really have a lot of time because of, the backlog, but I would definitely be interested in trying them out eventually. This question comes from Robin. What is your favorite horror movie? Oh god. Okay, so I have a lot of favorite horror movies. It really depends on my mood. So I'm just gonna list out a few that I really, really love. The original Nightmare on Elm Street, In the Mouth of Madness, The Thing, The Void, Color Out of Space, The Fly, and Leprechaun. Yes, I'm serious. The original Leprechaun is unironically fucking awesome. I love that movie. This one also comes from Robin. If you had a chance to open a restaurant, what kind would it be? So, a restaurant. Oh boy, I've seen enough Hell's Kitchen, Kitchen Nightmares, and Hotel Hell to know what kind not to open. It definitely wouldn't be seafood. That is just asking for trouble. I don't want to do anything too generic, like a burger joint. And I don't want to be too fancy. So, honestly, I would open a bakery. I really love baking. I love making sweets. I love making, cupcakes, muffins, cakes. So, yeah, it would be a bakery. Not technically a restaurant, I guess, but you get the idea. This one comes from Backshotatron. What are your favorite games for every console that you've had? Oh dear god. Okay, fuck. So, now I gotta think about every console I've ever owned. The Super Nintendo, definitely Super Mario World. That is my all-time favorite Super Nintendo game. I adore it to death. Love it, love it, love it. As far as the Game Boy goes, definitely Pokemon Emerald. Pokemon Emerald is, I mean, come on. It's Pokemon Emerald. For the PlayStation 1, it would definitely be Neversoft's Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2000, I call it. Really love that game to death. It is just, it's so great. For the PlayStation 2, definitely Persona 3. That's my all-time favorite game, so, I mean, yeah, that checks out. For the GameCube, I would say, and some of you might not be expecting this, but Pokemon Colosseum. Pokemon Colosseum, man, I really should make a video on that one day. That and XD Gale of Darkness. Let me think. I owned a Wii U, but I only ever played Bayonetta 2, Wonderful 101, and Smash Bros. 4, so I guess between those, I'll say Bayonetta 2. I feel like that's kind of the obvious pick. For the PlayStation 3, oh boy, there's a lot of games I loved on the PS3. That's really hard to say. Though when it comes down to it, oh man, that's a tough one. My favorite PS3 game. I'm like really taking a moment to think about this one actually. Wow. You know what? I feel like for the PlayStation 3, I have to say Dark Souls. Even though Dark Souls obviously ran like crap on a PS3. I mean, I put like 1,800 hours into that fucking game on the PS3. Like, I don't feel like I can say any other game except maybe Uncharted 3 or Call of Duty Black Ops. Uncharted 3's multiplayer was probably my most played multiplayer ever. I got really, really goddamn good at that game. Except Overwatch, because I got like 2,000 hours in that fucking game, unfortunately. And yeah, Call of Duty Black Ops, I mean, it's Call of Duty Black Ops. That game, fuck me, it's good. As far as the PlayStation 4 goes, I'm gonna say Mass Effect Legendary Edition because it's the complete, perfect packaging of my favorite sci-fi trilogy. Loveless, that's 3 games. Well, you know what? I don't fucking care. PlayStation 5, I think my favorite game would have to be Persona 3 Reload, like, without question. I mean, it's my actual favorite video game, so like, really, what else can I say? Let me think. I owned a PlayStation Vita, and I think my favorite game on there was probably Persona 4 Golden. In fact, it's not even a probably, it was my favorite game on there. Then there's the DS, and oh god, I guess oh man, it's a toss-up. It's either Pokemon Soul Silver slash Heart Gold, or it's Pokemon Black and White. Some people prefer Black and White 2 to the first Black and Whites, but I actually prefer the first Black and Whites myself. Black and White 1 and 2 are both great, but I just kind of lean more towards Black and White 1, if only for the finale being just incredible. So yeah, either Soul Silver or Black and White for the DS. And as far as PC goes, I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious. Fallout New Vegas. Yeah. And yes, I know the PC is not a console, but why would I not mention it alongside everything else, you know? This question comes from RX. Will you ever do a video on your top 10 games of all time? And if so, can you give a special shout out to Jak 3? Shit, but you probably oughta. So, I may do a video on my top 10 games at some point if people want to see that, or if I just feel like it. Not really sure why I'd give a special shout out to Jak 3 though when Jak 2 is the one on that list, but hey, you know, it's cool, it's cool. Jak 3 is a great game. I got no problem giving Jak 3 a shout out. Hey, if you're watching this video and you haven't played Jak 3 or any of the Jak and Daxter games between the first three, you should fix that. In fact, no, you're going to fix that. I'm not giving you a choice. This question comes from Robin again. What are some of the best games that you personally just don't like? That is a really good question because there are definitely some games that I recognize are good, but I just, for one reason or another, can't get into them. The first game that comes to mind with this question is definitely The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Oblivion is one of those games that, like, I know a lot of people really, really treasure, but when I tried playing it, I just thought it sucked. I just thought it just it did not click with me. I gave it a couple chances and it never clicked for me. I'm not gonna shit on it because I've like barely played it and it's been years since I barely played it. And I totally respect anyone who loves Oblivion. I could not get into it myself. I think that's probably the best example I could think of. This is another question from RX. Will you ever do C's content on your own content if someone is able to discredit objective statements that you've made? So I feel like my content is a little too long to be making C's content on unless someone like picks out one of my backlog games and has a problem with some of my criticisms of it. But that's one of those things where I would honestly be willing to stand corrected because I mean, it's just casual looks at games that I've been going through. I would probably do response content if it was asked of me or if it felt necessary, but honestly, I don't really see that kind of thing going beyond myself commenting on their video or perhaps inviting them to a Discord chat or something like that. But again, if the person who criticized my content or rebutted my content showed a genuine interest in wanting to collaborate and discuss it further, I'd be totally down for that kind of thing. But like a full-blown C's episode on my content getting responded to, I don't know. It would have to be like a really bad response, like an under the mayo response, but I don't think he's going to. This is another question from Robin. What genres would you say are your favorites? And are there any that you just don't enjoy? So like I said, I think role-playing games are definitely my bread and butter as far as my favorite game genres go, but I enjoy plenty of others as well. As far as genres that I just don't enjoy, fighting games are honestly kind of getting there. Again, I enjoy playing them casually with my friends, but I really don't play them solo anymore like I used to, and I just can't get into them competitively anymore. I'm not too big on simulation games and hardcore survival games and roguelikes. Actually, you know what? Yeah, that would probably be the one genre I just genuinely don't like, that being roguelikes. I just don't enjoy the idea of playing for a really long time only to lose everything I've got. I know to some people, like, that's where the tension comes from, but to me, the only result that comes from it is the inevitable, there goes all my time. Cool. So yeah, and to be clear, I totally get why people enjoy that genre. I just personally, I cannot get into it for the life of me. Favorite armor set in each Souls game? Oh boy. Okay. So, as far as Demon Souls goes, definitely Yurt's armor. It's just, I mean, come on. Look at that fucking armor. That dude is such a badass. For Dark Souls 1, I'm gonna kind of cheat and say Ornstein's armor, specifically with the red plume, because without the red plume, it just doesn't look right. But Ornstein himself, oh man, absolutely peak armor set. But if we're not counting that, then I'd probably go with Black Iron Tarkus's armor. That armor is just, god damn, it's cool. For Dark Souls 2, I would definitely go with the Llewellyn set. I think that set is just really goddamn cool. For Dark Souls 3, gotta say I am a complete and total slut for the Ring Knight armor set. I don't even really have any in-depth explanations, I think they all look really cool. And finally, to round out this questionnaire, most eligible bachelor slash Bachelorette in each Soulsborne FromSoft title in honor of your engagement. Thank you. Not just most attractive, but most dateable. Oh my god, we're gonna trigger the waifu wars with this one, aren't we? Okay. So I guess going back to Demon Souls, the Bachelorette would probably have to be Yuria the Witch. What can I really say about her? You know, she's cute, she's a witch, she's smart, she's really helpful and gives you some crazy powerful magic. But yeah, I feel like Yuria the Witch would just be a lovely lady, especially after you saved her, you know? I mean, god, she was dealing with some shit before you saved her, so you know, I can't imagine that she's not grateful. I feel like Yuria would be a really sweet person to go out with. And as far as the Bachelor of Demon Souls goes, I mean, I gotta hand it to my boy, old King Doran. Not only is he extremely, and I mean extremely powerful, but he's got that Giga Chad energy, you know? Like, he's such a quality, nice guy. But if you fuck around, you're gonna find out. And I feel like he would just be a total pal, you know? I feel like he knows how to treat a lady, you know? Or a guy, you know, if he's into that. Most eligible bachelor in Dark Souls? Probably Solaire. I mean, he's Solaire. Like, who doesn't love Solaire? He's so endearing and lovable. Like, what kind of shitty? I don't know. I feel like people who don't like Solaire, it's like people who don't like dogs. I don't like that's a red flag for me if you don't like Solaire. I feel like like if Solaire was with somebody, be it a guy or a girl, like he would just be such a wonderful, lovable dude, you know? And he would always be there for you, you know? That's the thing. If you were his just friends or if you were something more, doesn't matter to him, he will be there for you. What a guy. The Bachelorette for Dark Souls, though? I mean, they seem to identify as feminine, so I'm gonna say Gwendolyn. Duh. I feel like Gwendolyn would really take care of you. Like, they would totally do everything in their power to make Anne Orlando your kingdom, you know? As far as Dark Souls 2 goes, I mean, the Bachelor is obviously going to be Gavlin. I mean, he wheels and he deals. What more can you ask for? And as far as the Bachelorette, I mean, come on. It's got to be Shaunalot. She's with you for your whole journey. I mean, she's basically the maiden in black, but with no strings attached. She's just a wonderful lady who's there to help you out and serve you. I mean, she makes you more powerful. She provides you insight. She's lovely to talk to. She's always there for you. I feel like it's gotta be Shaunalot, the Emerald Herald, you know? Then there's Bloodborne, and oh, dear God. I don't even know if I can say this game has a proper Bachelor and Bachelorette. Everyone is so, like, everyone's story is so fucked up in some way. I guess Aileen would be the Bachelorette because she's like, what other options do you have? You know, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess there's the doll, but I also don't feel like becoming wiener cousins with Gehrman, so I'm gonna pass on that. And Lady Maria, well, she will kill you, so yeah. She would rather impale herself. Which, hey, you know, I'm not here to kink shame. But as far as bachelors in Bloodborne go, I guess Alfred? I mean, as long as you're not a vile blood, he's a bro. So yeah, I guess I don't know, I kind of got to default to him, you know? Dark Souls 3. Well, I guess the bachelor's got to be my man, my boy, my homie, Sigurd. I mean, you know what they say, onions got layers, and Sigurd, he's like an onion, he's got layers. Plus he helps out in a pretty big boss fight, so hey. I mean, what can I say? You know, he's a jolly, lovable guy. And as far as the Dark Souls 3 Bachelorette goes, well, it's gotta be the Firekeeper, right? Like, I guess there's Carla the Witch, but I don't know. Firekeeper, she seems like a really sweet lady, you know? As long as you don't stomp on her face. But then again, maybe she will stick around if you do that. I don't really know. But you know, I feel like as long as you're not a terrible person, Firekeeper, she'll stick by you, you know? She's loyal like that. And she makes you more powerful. She's like Shaunalot, only a little bit less interesting. I don't feel like I know enough about the Sekiro characters to properly comment on them. But if I had to pick, I mean, I feel like Emma is the obvious pick for the Bachelorette. And as far as the Bachelor goes, I mean, Sekiro himself. He's the lone wolf shade, you know? He serves Lord Kuro, but homeboy needs some love. Give that man a bride, goddammit. Lord knows he worked his ass off enough to earn one. And finally, Elden Ring's Bachelor and Bachelorette. Oh dear God, there is so much to unpack with every one of these characters. I feel like with The Bachelor, we're gonna have to go with the Lord of Frenzied Flame, because that means putting an end to Elden Ring, which, I mean, that's like the best timeline, so it's kinda gotta be the Lord of Frenzied Flame. Then for The Bachelorette, definitely gonna have to go with Ronnie. I mean, I don't know, like, it feels pretty easy to pick her. I don't wanna go too much into why, because I do have a story section for my Elden Ring critique where I talk a little bit about Ronnie and I go into more depth about her. But for now, I'll keep it simple and I'll just say, Ronnie, you know what? She's pretty cute, she's pretty cool, she's pretty smart, and she doesn't want anything to do with the fucking train wreck that is the Lands Between, so, hey, that's pretty fucking based. But wait, I lied. We're not done because the Q&A channel got one more question from Lord Zarkness, my man. What was the motivation to make videos, and how much do you like the idea to make a movie night in the Discord? So, my motivation to make videos, I don't know, I mean, ever since I was even just a kid, I really enjoy talking about games for like literally hours on end. And growing up, I really enjoyed certain videos like Ego Raptor's Sequelitis, before Ego Raptor went insane. Then, of course, there was the Gaming Brit, Super Bunny Hop. I feel like I could go on and on and on. But yeah, there were a lot of YouTubers I really liked because they gave these really cool in-depth breakdowns of games that I found really interesting, and they even introduced me to a lot of games that I came to love. I honestly wanted to make videos since high school, but way back then I just did not have the necessary tools for making good YouTube content. And to be fair, I've never been particularly wealthy, so managing to get the resources to make good videos was never easy and still to this day is a bit of a struggle for me. But I guess the main motivation, I don't know, I just really enjoy it. And that's kind of what I feel matters the most. I just really enjoy talking about video games. And it's not just talking about them, like, I'm not just rambling. I really like to break down and dissect why it is that I enjoy or don't enjoy any game that I play. And not just games, movies, TV shows. I like talking to other people about why I felt the way I did about any piece of media or art that I consume. And YouTube was one of those things where I considered it for a long time, but I also didn't really know what it was I even wanted to do with YouTube. But eventually I got that inspiration for the PT Silent Hills videos that I made a while back. That would go on to be the breaking out point for me. And since then, it's pretty much been one video idea after another. Like I said, I just really enjoy making these videos. As for movie night in the Discord, I would like to, I don't know. I'm not on social media that much anymore. And as anyone in the Discord can tell you, I tend to be pretty in and out. But I definitely wouldn't be opposed to it. In fact, the more I think about it, the more I think I really would like to do that. And I think as the channel grows bigger and bigger, I would eventually have to start doing a channel members only or perhaps even a super chats only stream in the Discord. I don't know, something like that. I would have to really think about it. I got a lot going on in life right now and a lot of content planned, so it's just really hard to find time to do that kind of thing, but I would really enjoy getting to do so. And yeah, with that, I believe we have finally come to the end. I doubt this is going to be my most viewed content, but to those of you who tuned in, really appreciate it as always. I hope you're looking forward to more from the channel. I certainly know I am. And really, like, from me to you all, like, I'm just a guy behind a computer who likes talking about video games. I really do appreciate all the support. It means the world to me. Like, you have no idea. I genuinely did not expect to like actually hit 3,000 subscribers. I thought I was going to be a pretty small few hundred subs channel for pretty much ever. I did not expect it to go off even this much. And you know what? It really feels like it's only just the start.